welcome. I'm your host, Viveca Gravel, Community Development Coordinator for the City of Owen Sound and the River District, and you're listening to the River District Podcast. I'm sitting here with my friend Francesca Dobbyn and her colleague, Kristy Andre, from the United Way Grey Bruce Grey.
We're interchangeable, but it's technically
Bruce Grey.
I was told when I started that it rhymed. United Way, Bruce Grey.
Okay, yeah. Actually, that's a little bit easier now that I remember it. It's got a bit of a tempo to it.
Yeah, so that's what I was told.
There you go.
Yeah, because everything else is Grey Bruce.
Yep.
And B comes before G in the alphabet.
That's true. That is very true. So, anyways, I am here with these two lovely people from the United Way Grey Bruce, and we're going to learn a little bit, Bruce Grey, see? And we're going to learn a little bit about the two of you. So, hi and welcome.
Thank you. Thrilled to be here.
Yeah. So why don't we get right into it, and you two just give me a little bit of an introduction about the two of you. I mean, Francesca, you've been with United Way for as long as I can remember.
18 years.
Goodness.
At the beginning of November.
Okay. And Kristy, you're more new to the organization, service. Yes. So we're going to learn all about that. So I'm going to hand it over to you right now and just tell me a little bit about yourself. Francesca, maybe yourself first.
Sure. So the United Way's a registered charity. United Ways are known across the planet for doing really good work in the community. We cover all of Bruce and Grey counties. We've been in the River District for about 18 years. They moved here just before I did. And then we were across the street, actually, and just moved up the block and took over the old Grey County Daycare building in 2006. We paid $1 for that building. And it's home to the Métis Nation of Ontario as well as CMHA's community gardens and the Métis gardens.
That's where those are.
That's part of that food forest piece. That was the pilot project, was actually on our land.
Okay.
They came to us a few years ago and said, can we play in your yard? And we're like, yeah, we're not in it.
I love that.
Yeah, so we've been growing veggies ever since. We're a social services-based charity, so we focus on human needs and human interaction, and we build capacity. We're 100% fundraised. We're not a charity that receives transfer payments from the government to deliver any service. We have to go every day. We have to go find the money, which is what Kristy's job is.
Well, hi, Kristy.
Hello.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, so my official title, I guess, is Fundraising Champion, and Francesca's is Executive Director, very formal.
Ooh la la.
Yeah, and I've been with the United Way Bruce Grey since September, so very, very new, but very happy to be there.
Well, I'm sure that Francesca is happy to have another person on the team.
Oh, absolutely. The youth energy is like, oh, okay, so we're, let's do the Santa Claus parade. Sure, let's go.
She told me a story about that.
And having had lunch with Kiwanis recently, apparently the Kiwanians are saying it was the worst ever weather in living memory.
Yeah. No, I remember being a kid and maybe there'd be a skiff of snow, maybe there'd be a little bit of slush or something like that. But yeah, the Santa Claus parade of 2022 was something else.
It was.
Yeah, we'll never forget that.
I was out there setting up tables and stuff, trying to make it lovely for everybody. I'm getting frostbite on my face and just being like, is this worth it? The heaters I put out aren't even putting out heat. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, frozen over.
But we collected, over 70 pairs of socks as part of our drive.
That's incredible.
Which is part of our homelessness outreach as well. So it was great to have that outreach in our community and the community support.
And so is this the first year you've done a sock drive?
For the parade, yes.
Okay, but there's normally a sock drive outside of that?
We just do lots of things. We collect all the things. Socks
don't say that. There's not much room left in the building.
That's true.
Oh my goodness. So tell me about a little bit of the fundraising, but also the collection of items and what kind of items you would be looking for if somebody wants to make a donation or if they should wait until you guys approach the community for them, that kind of stuff. Just tell me how people can get involved with giving stuff.
So it's really important to respond to a request for stuff, because different agencies are doing different things. So
Right.
Safe and Sound on 8th Street does a coat drive.
That's right.
So bring coats to Safe and Sound. In the summer, they'll be looking for tents and sleeping bags and things like that, because they're a homeless and housing outreach program. So it's really important to respond to a charity with what they're asking for versus coming and saying, hey, I've got this.
Right.
And, I'm going to give it to you. Because if the charity's not able to take it, it becomes a challenge for the charity to deal with that. So we've been on the receiving end of a sock drive that PV Mart actually started out on the Sunstead Strip. This year it's both socks, hats, and mitts through that Heat the Feet is their program. So 2-3 years ago, they showed up at our office with 800 pairs of warm socks.
Oh my goodness.
And it was like, oh boy, what are we going to do with 800 pairs of socks? And so we have 211. One of our projects is the 211 call line. So if you're looking for community information about anything, you just pick up the phone, dial 211. That's all you dial. And it can refer you and connect you to human services information across Ontario, across Canada, and definitely focused on Grey Bruce.
Okay.
So that's a really good resource for people who are struggling. So we taped 211 business cards to these socks, because there was a little label on them, and we gave them to police departments.
Oh, wonderful.
And so if they saw somebody walking in the downtown at 2 a.m., instead of kind of coming up and going, so what are you doing out here at 2 a.m., they can go, hey, we see you're out here at 2 a.m. Can I give you a pair of dry, clean, warm socks? And then it becomes a conversation.
Absolutely.
And it's not that negative police interaction. It's a positive police interaction. And we saw it as a way of getting rid of socks. And then the second year, we suddenly had in the fall all these police services, West Grey, Saugeen Shores, the OPP, reaching out to us going, okay, we need more socks. And I was like, all right, so this is working. So we created 211 socks. And, sometimes there are overnight guests with our police departments, and they go out with dry socks in the morning. And it can really make a difference to somebody who's having, a bad day, maybe making different choices than what you and I would make. And that's just one of the things that we do. So then we started our SOS outreach, which is that homelessness outreach support services that happens at the farmers market every other Wednesday in the downtown in the River District. And we've gone through, in the last 12 months, 2,000 pairs of socks, because that's something that people need. You don't thrift store socks.
No, they usually go in the trash when you're done with them. Yeah.
So that's a big thing. And they're fairly standard sizes as well. You don't have that small, medium, large, extra large, 2X and all that. With
and you
socks.
can always wear a bigger sock.
Yeah. So they're a nice comfort piece. So that's a big part of what we're doing, in the winter collection is asking for socks.
Oh, I love that, because, even as a person, just out and about and stuff, your feet get so damp throughout the day when it's cold out, and that'll chill your whole body. Really. So just a fresh pair of socks. I go camping with youth groups and things like that. And we change our socks 4 times a day just to stay warm and dry. And I think that's such an integral piece of keeping people, even giving that little bit of comfort.
Sense of comfort, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's wonderful. So are you currently, sorry, I don't want to timestamp this too much, but do you collect socks throughout the year, or should people wait?
We collect socks throughout the year. We are focused in the winter on the warm socks.
Thermals, that kind of stuff,
that kind of thing. We go through so many that it doesn't really matter if, you come to us in July with warm socks. We'll just tuck them away. They don't go stale.
Nope.
No best before dates on socks. So
there probably
okay.
is, and it's so just tragic.
Yeah. And it can be a lot of fun for people that are looking to engage with something in the community. It's a good team building thing. So if you're a business and you want to do something fun with your staff, with everything we've had with the pandemic, it can be really challenging, to do that team building when you're all on Zoom and you don't go out for lunch and you don't do this and you don't do that. But coming together to do something as a fundraiser for a community organization, that's a lot of fun. And, Kristy is big on helping you get through those ideas and making it work.
Like convincing everybody to take part in the 2022 Santa Claus Parade.
I'm sure they just love it.
Yeah. Any plans to take part in the 2023 Santa Claus Parade?
We'll see. We have not talked about that yet. It's too soon.
Everybody's going to come in parkas, and then it's going to be beautiful weather.
It's going to be beautiful, yeah. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
So let's talk a little bit about that SOS outreach that you do alternating Wednesdays at the Owen Sound Farmers Market, right there in the River District, right behind City Hall. This is a drop-in outreach program.
Yes.
People of certain community are just, identified and communicated that this is on there. And what can people get from this outreach?
So SOS, first off, stands for Supportive Outreach Services.
Okay.
And it was named by people who access the services.
Perfect.
So when we first started doing this, and the organizations involved all kept calling it something different. We all knew what we were talking about, but we all called it something different. So we went to the peer support groups and said, okay, if we said, meet us at, you would know what it is if we called it what. And they came back with SOS, Supportive Outreach Services. So that's what it is. And we have a mobile team, and we have the stationaries. So we have Hanover the opposite weeks that we're not in Owen Sound as well.
Okay.
And what we do is we bring all those social services under one roof. Mm-hmm. So you have public health there with harm reduction, our Indigenous supports with Moequidon, the Métis Centre could be there as well as SOHAC. The Women's Centre would be there with issues around domestic violence and supporting women. We also have Peer Support Canadian Mental Health, anything to do with mental health, addictions counseling. Occasionally, we can, schedule permitting, have our nurse practitioner there. So if you are unattached to a doctor and you're looking for something supportive, especially around substance use,
of course,
whether you need some information, open wounds, basic first aid, because the paramedics are there as well. Mm-hmm. And then O'Shear's there with some pizza. So it's a free pizza lunch. And we are there with the United Way, and we've got socks and toilet paper and, those basic things that you can't get through a food bank.
Right.
The food bank is there with emergency food as well. The Salvation Army is there with their team. But, there's other things that are missing. So, we have masks for... people who are still wishing to wear a mask and being careful in the flu season and with COVID still being out there. So all of those pieces, we have journals and pencil crayons for people who that's part of their therapeutic process is journaling. And when we don't have something, we listen for feedback on, okay, what is it you could use? Now, a 2-bedroom apartment
of course.
that I could afford
yeah.
is the number one thing, but the other pieces and then we're connecting people to services. So we'll have somebody who comes in and they're just, at their wit's end with something, and we can walk them from agency to agency to agency under one roof. Grey County is there with Grey County Housing, with Ontario Works, and they can look up files and get people reinstated or get them that financial assistance that they need in that emergency, and then start making a plan of connecting.
Yeah, and how important it is to have all of these people under one roof, because we've had people come in and need to know where to go to get things. I'm sorry, you have to go up this hill to go there, and then you have to go across town to the other place. So having everybody all in one area and not having to book an appointment, trying to keep track of all of that is just convenient.
It makes it really accessible to everybody. And that being the building being accessible as well helps.
Yeah, it's barrier free.
Yeah.
We've had the GoVax bus there twice, and have done, well over 100 vaccines for COVID and all 5 versions of the vaccine. So that was kind of fun when the first time they came, because they weren't sure what they were coming to, and they were definitely trying to target our transient population, and they definitely did. They started out the day with 15 appointments and just kind of like, okay, it's going to be a quiet day, and we were like, no, days are coming, and that's the beauty of it, is you don't need an appointment. We're there from 1 to 3:30 for sure, and just drop on by, see what's going on.
Yeah, and many of them don't have health cards on them or any of those kinds of things. So having the expectation that you would need something like that to go and get some of the services is a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people there remember them too, so they call them by their first names, like make them just feel like this is a social gathering, if anything.
Yeah.
Just
A lot of respect.
yeah.
And, the piece that makes my day is when somebody you've had a really positive interaction with, somebody who's you've problem solved with, brings a friend the next time
Oh,
and says, these people help. These people get it done. You need to talk to these people.
no.
And you're just like, oh, I can get up tomorrow morning, definitely, and keep going here.
Yes, no, from a job standpoint, that sounds incredibly fulfilling.
Oh, it is. It's absolutely it.
Yeah.
And when you get those wins, and when you get somebody who's, moves along a path of a plan that they've decided, and you're watching them, and you're helping them, and you're cheering with them, it can just make all the difference in the world. And then when they come back with gratitude of, thank you. Without you guys, I may not be here, but you caught me just when I was at rock bottom and showed me there was a path.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are actually running a little bit low on time here. So I don't want to rush anybody through. I know we have so much that we can talk about. But I know there are some questions from people and they're really embarrassed to ask. But sometimes there's a case where, somebody is asking for money, or they're feeling unsafe or any of those kinds of things. What can somebody do to interact with somebody of the transient population to help them from their standpoint?
So I would say that the first thing to do is hello and eye contact, is see them, because so often they feel invisible. Another thing to remember is not everybody that is panhandling or asking for money downtown is actually homeless.
That's correct.
They can be spending 100% of what income they have on their rent. So the panhandling is how they get food, or how they get other things that they need. So not everybody is genuinely unhoused. But making eye contact and just simply stating, if you don't have any cash or you're not willing to or want to give cash, to say, no, I don't have anything on me today. Thanks very much. Have a great day. Human beings deserve respect. But if you have the ability to, can I get you a cup of coffee, or can I get you a sandwich, or, pop into Tim Hortons and get a Tim card, $5, $10 buys lunch.
Yeah.
Same with Metro cards. Going to the grocery store makes a big difference. Fresh Roots Cafe has a board. So if you go down for lunch at CMHA at their cafe there, you can pay for something. And then somebody can go in and say, okay, can I have soup and a muffin and a coffee? And it comes off the board because it's already been paid for. So that's their pay it forward board. So that's the best thing to do is just hello and move along. I've been downtown at night at the dark, and it's okay to feel uncomfortable, but it's a pretty safe place to be.
I would say so. I would say that Owen Sound, there might be some misconceptions and people might be told it's unsafe, but I don't feel that way. And I've lived here my whole life.
Yeah.
I think that people just have misconceptions and they need to change their way of thinking. Now, if somebody wanted to purchase gift cards on bulk, they wanted to buy 10 Tim Hortons gift cards or something like that, and didn't have the means to be able to hand them out themselves, can they forward those to you guys?
Oh, absolutely. We would work with Safe and Sound ourselves through the SOS program. We've bought Tim cards before for Owen Sound Police, so they can go and buy somebody lunch.
Okay.
So they're interacting with somebody. There's nothing criminal, but maybe somebody's just frustrated.
Of course.
And they're angry and they're just kind of yelly in the downtown. You know what? Maybe you're just hangry. Let's go get you some lunch.
Been there.
And then that changes the conversation again.
Absolutely.
And the feedback we've gotten from the Owen Sound Police and from OPP is thank you, because that does give them that opportunity to have a positive interaction and diffuse a situation when they're just hangry.
Yeah. And gift cards are much easier to store than anything larger, of course.
Exactly.
So those can really go to just about anybody.
Yeah. And it becomes currency within the community as well. Mm-hmm. So if you need a favor from somebody else, or maybe, somebody's got a really nice hat and you want that hat and you got a couple of gift cards, you can pay for it that way.
Yeah.
I know in some communities, people use it to buy a ride. And that's how they pay for, their friend, I haven't got any cash, but can you drive me to the grocery store? But I've got this Tim card.
That's incredible. So, yeah, gift cards are a wonderful way to go. And as any sort of holiday or gift giving season approaches, I know a lot of people are looking to give back. And while this may not air during that time period, it's something that people can definitely consider and think about. And if they do have the means to give even just a little, it can go a long way.
Absolutely. And you can find us on the web. Google knows where we are. Lots of, every social media platform.
We try to make it as easy as possible for people because we appreciate it and we want to give them an easy way to hand us their love. So
yeah. So how do I put you on the spot here and ask you, what are those social media handles and what is your website?
Okay, well,
you wrote them down.
You told me.
Came prepared. Love that.
So on Twitter, we and then the letter R, Possibility. Instagram and Facebook, we're United Way Bruce Gray. And then online on our website, we are unitedwayofbrucegray.com.
And if you want to make a donation, our mobile portal is donatetoday.ca.
Okay.
And that's just works really well on your phone.
Just flows.
Well, make sure to follow them on social media. Make sure to stay up to date on their website. And I know that Francesca is always out in the community. So if you just see her around, go say hi.
Come say hi. Absolutely.
And, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me this afternoon. This is going to be a great show, and I'm excited to bring it to the public. So thanks again for coming in. And as always, I'm your host, Viveca Gravel, Community Development Coordinator with the City of Owen Sound and the River District, and you're listening to the River District Podcast. Thanks so much, and take care.